12 Worst Towns to Live in England, my subscribers list. I need to begin this video by acknowledging the fact that the content is a development of an outline based on my subscribers' thoughts. After seeing the videos about the 12 worst towns to live in England, your comments trailing the video were informative. They highlight the facts of our being free moral agents that reserve the right to agree or disagree on issues, including ranking and analysing towns and cities. From the corroborations and differences of opinions of my subscribers, I discover the towns that are really worst in general opinion. From that compilation, here is my subscribers list of the 12 worst towns to live in England. I'll dwell more on the ones I haven't told you much about. 12. Tilbury. Let's start with a town in the borough of Thurrock in Essex in England. Many of my subscribers mentioned this town mainly because of its mismatched tarmac and potholes. They also pointed to the high-rise buildings surrounding the lower flat-roofed homes. Such a place wouldn't be a nice place to live, would it? Many of those houses are fading away while their paint is peeling off the walls. Imagine living in a town with such peels littering your garden. Those residing in the town have reasons to complain about how kids move about unsupervised, constituting a nuisance in the communities and posing security threats. One resident complained, "There are some people who don't care about their houses. I think younger people now don't have much to do. You see 6- and 7-year-olds walking around the area on their own and you think, where are their parents? I'm only staying here because I can't afford to move." The town is full of many unemployed people and consequently there's a lot of poverty in Tilbury. 11. Middlesbrough. Thank you for agreeing with all I have said about this industrial town on England's northeast coast. Middlesbrough should certainly be among the 12 worst towns in the England, UK by any standard of measurement used. Scanning through the bad press it often gets, you will see how Middlesbrough is lagging on different yardsticks by different researchers or polls. Let's just hope that someday Smoggies, as the residents are called, will get their acts together and uplift their town. 10. Willenhall. The introduction of Willenhall is one of the worst towns to live in England on my subscribers list is quite a revelation. It demonstrates that I'm dealing with highly knowledgeable subscribers who are bent on consuming and sharing nothing but the truth. Indeed, this market town between the metropolitan borough of Walsall and Wolverhampton deserves to be here. In the West Midlands, as a suburb of Coventry, this town has been rated the 32nd most dangerous among the medium-sized towns in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. The latest reliable available crime rates in Willenhall is 42 crimes per 1,000 people. It'd be a serious error of omission if Willenhall isn't mentioned here. 9. Morecambe. Morecambe, a seaside town in the City of Lancaster district in Lancashire, should definitely be on this list. If you saw our video of the worst seaside resorts in the UK, you'd have seen a lot about Morecambe. It's therefore not surprising that my subscribers consider it one of the worst towns to live in England on their list. The high rate of crime and level of deprivation has ensured that life is far from comfortable in this town. Its tourism industry had failed to thrive since it went moribund in the mid-20th century. Let's just hope that the huge investment being planned for this town will better its lot. 8. Stevenage. I can see from the comments of my subscribers that a lot of things are going wrong in this large town and borough of Hertfordshire. Out of the 141 towns, villages and cities in the borough, Stevenage, located 43 kilometres north of London, east of junctions 7 and 8 of the A1M, is the most dangerous. The crime rates for the past few years in this town have been scary. In recent years it has averaged 82 crimes per 1,000 people. My subscribers have generally condemned the negligence of parenting and bad manners of youths in Stevenage. 7. Hounslow. How on earth has Hounslow managed to escape our scrutiny? The large suburban district in West London, which is 17.2 kilometres west-southwest of Charing Cross, features prominently in the comments of my subscribers. Even with its suburban vibe, cheap housing and proximity to the centre of town, Hounslow is the worst place to live in London. This makes it invariably one of the worst towns to live in the UK. The town is simply lacking in beauty. Try viewing it over the River Thames and you'll see a bit of an ugly sight. As if animals also care about such beauty, you won't find so many nice ones here apart from pigeons. Hounslow isn't a history place, not very peaceful, and there are no beautiful parks and open spaces. Besides, you can hardly find an interesting place to work in the town. 6. Slough. Slough, a town in Berkshire, has featured in many of our lists of worst places to live or work in either England or the entire UK. And here on my subscribers list, it's a constant feature. This town, 32 kilometres west of central London and 30 kilometres northeast of Reading, has been named by many people and authorities as one of the worst, and those residing in the town have got no reason to argue. They too can see their streets littered with empty takeaways and beer cans. All voters vote against this town as though there's nothing worth seeing or doing there. 5. Gravesend. Has anything not been exactly as I told you about Gravesend? Now that every one of my subscribers has looked into the town more critically, you could see better. I have no choice but to agree with your listing of it as one of the worst towns to live in England. Yet I want to passionately appeal to you about this town. Please don't treat it with disdain. Rather, let's be positive and optimistic about Gravesend, since loving it doesn't mean sending anyone to the grave. 4. Luton. One is left to wonder about whether or not Luton actually deserves the recognition it gets. In almost all rankings where Luton appears, it has always been voted close to the bottom of the table. Everyone who watched my video believed the same thing about Luton. This town in Bedfordshire has even topped a vote on Reddit as the worst place in the UK. Some voters went as far as describing the town as the end of humanity. 3. Hartlepool. Hartlepool is no doubt one of the poorest places in the UK. This port town in County Durham, which is also the largest settlement in its borough, is 51 kilometres southeast of Newcastle. Unfortunately, it's a good example of a downside of deindustrialisation, as the town has consequently been left for abandonment and rot. It's among the most dangerous major towns in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. The most recent crime rate for Hartlepool, given as 65 crimes, reported that it is not about to be controlled, and a crime rate of 0.72 per 1,000 inhabitants is a bad sign. 2. Harlow. As I said earlier, I have noted how my subscribers were not happy with Harlow in the west of Essex in England. Situated on the Hertfordshire-London border, Harlow sits on a large expanse of a land south bank of the Upper Stort Valley. I have found that it's one of the worst towns in the UK. This town in Essex has earned itself an unfavourable reputation over the years as spectacularly ugly, the worst place to live, and dilapidated. 1. Rochdale. What more should I tell you about Rochdale that has not been said? My subscribers have not only agreed with everything in my video about this town, but have also made insightful and revealing comments about how terrible this town can be. Okay, maybe I just need to add that it lacks community, spirit, the scenery is awful, and there's no wildlife whatsoever. It's likely the most hated town in England. I just hope that this is your own rating of the towns in England. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell. This is Learning Canteen.